ones. Hey, thanks for coming by the studio today. I'm so excited that you're here. We're going to be talking about natural dyes, and guess what? This is going to be a three-part series. Again, I know how you like those. So we're going to talk about that later. But first of all, if you're brand new to our channel, then I want to introduce myself. My name is Caterina, and everybody calls me Kat. And my husband Don and I started this channel about 3 years ago, and we have 90 videos for you to watch. And there are 3 ways that you can support us if you're interested in doing that. First of all, in the description below, you're going to find our Amazon links. You could use one of those. If you buy regularly on Amazon, just jump on one of our links and get whatever you want. That helps us out. And also, there's a tip jar waiting there for you too, if you're so inclined. And the last way is to just follow the link that's on the screen and click the tab at the top that says 142 Bis Gallery and purchase a piece of my art. And we so appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Okay, if you haven't checked out our other natural dye videos, we have 2 others. And the way you do that is just click on my icon, it'll take you to my homepage, and it'll say videos at the top. You can look at every single video that way. So it's a really easy way to do it. But from the last 2 videos that I did, people asked me about Colorfast and Lightfast. Now, Colorfast is something that we're not interested in, we're not worried about. If you're a mixed media artist, I'm never going to take one of these pieces of fabric or paper and put it in the wash. I'm not going to worry about it mixing with my other t-shirts and getting them different colors. But Lightfast is something that we really do care about. And I conducted a little experiment because I was hoping that maybe salt bath and a vinegar bath would make a difference when it came to Lightfastness. But actually, they really don't. So what I'm going to tell you is what you're creating is going to change over time. It's going to disintegrate. The color is going to lose its vibrancy. We are going to talk about a couple of ways that I think we can probably help keep it alive, but basically I think we're looking at more like book projects that rather than putting dyed fabrics and paper on boards for people to see, because it's just going to disintegrate in the light. So here are my little experiments. Now, I chose blueberry, avocado, and a salted blueberry. And so that's what they looked like originally. And in the sun, this is what happened to them. Now, as you can see, this one, this is the side. Yeah, this is the blueberry. When I turn them over, you can see the difference in color. I mean, isn't that shocking? They've been in light. I started doing these experiments on 6/23 this summer. So so they've been sitting there a while and in the full sun. So that's how they've really shifted in color. Now this one is they're actually from 2 pieces of, let's see, let me put it this way. That came from here. So you can see a slight difference here. They're all pieces of the other ones. These 2 I just simply cut, but you can see the difference. So these have been out of the light and these have been in the light. So the salt doesn't matter, the vinegar doesn't matter, but what does matter about using salt and vinegar is that it changes your color drastically. Okay, I didn't want to use a ton of kitchen scraps or, berries and things like that. I didn't want to have a huge color range. I wanted to have a tea dye bath and then pinks and blues to go with it, because you know how I love that color combination, and they just love each other so much. So I did a simple blueberry bath, which is this color. It's blue, right? I did a simple black bean bath, and then I did a salted blueberry bath, and I mixed it with a plain blueberry to get this raspberry color, which I think is really pretty. I like the way it came out, but really there's a lot of other fruits and things, veggies, that you can get more of a raspberry color with. But what I love is the idea of mixing blueberry with blackberry, or avocado with, you know, turmeric or something like that. I think that would be really fun to play, mixing with those different colors. Now, to get this purple, this beautiful lilac color, just love this, I mixed black bean, just plain black bean, with the salted blueberry. So I just poured them in together and then used it. So what I'm going to say to you is play with it and see what happens for you. Just experiment and see what turns up. You know, you might get a completely different color. The other thing that I did was to make the experiment, you know, a little bit more even. I only used khadi papers. So all of these papers that I dyed are simply khadi, which made, you know, I think it just made more sense to just use one, you know, one type of paper rather than trying all different colors, because you know it's going to be different. It's going to come out differently. Okay, so that's what we did, and I think they're just yummy. I really like them a lot, and I think they're going to be a lot of fun to play with. But then I did a couple of other things too. I wanted to do a tea dye bath, and I got great results. I just want to remind everyone that my basic measurement is 1 cup of fruit or scraps or whatever you're using, and 1 cup of water. That gives you a pretty substantial dye bath. It's not too thin, and it's pretty good thickness. With tea dye though, I usually use like 3 or 4 tea bags so that I can get a really dark tea, and I let it sit for a couple days. Now, I do have blueberry bath that we're going to use today that I made on Wednesday, and I put in the fridge. If you're going to keep it long term, you're going to want to freeze it. And you know, all of this stuff is on my videos, all my other videos on natural dyes. You can just look, you know, watch those too. Okay, but to make this wonderful pattern, now it didn't come out every time. As you can see, this one and then this one. Okay, but it came out with some really wonderful striations. And so I simply did the tea bath, got it as thick as I could, maybe 2 or 3 days, and then poured it into this old Pyrex dish, which I keep in the studio. This is just for rust baths and things like that. Put it in here, put the khadi paper in here, and then I just kind of pushed it up so that it was sitting up like this, and let it just kind of drip. And I turned it back over and over so that it would get this wonderful color, and just left it to dry this way. So experiment with that, see what works for you, see if it comes out like this. Like I said, it's got to be a really strong dye bath of, and in this case I used Darjeeling and chai. I used 2 Darjeelings and 1 chai, and I have to tell you that the chai is just in there because it smells so good and it makes everything smell wonderful, because you know how we like yummy things, okay? But I love this, and I love the way it turned out, and it was super easy and super fun. Okay, so in some of the other videos, I did a resist with milk, which was really fun, but I wanted to come up with something more archival to use as a resist, and I decided to use just plain old regular gel matte medium. And since we're going to be using these for art pieces, I thought it would be really great, much more archival, and could even be painted over the top if you wanted to. So this is a fern just out of my garden, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And this is just lace. It's this little piece of lace here, and then I had some other pieces of lace too that that I thought we would put in the dye bath. So this is the blueberry dye bath that I had in the refrigerator, and I'm just going to poke it in here, and then we're going to be able to see the difference. Now this just came out of the fridge, so it's it looks like it's going to change into the blueberry, but it's just got to dry. But anyway, you can see the detail that's coming through from the lace. And so you can make any kind of, you know, of a resist that you want with all different kinds of things. It doesn't have to be fabric or lace or a leaf, but yeah, you know, I mean, you can just enjoy exploring the possibilities about it. All right, so to make a resist, it's super simple. We're simply going to use gel matte medium and a little brush and just apply it gently to your leaf, flower, whatever it is that you're going to want to create with the resist. And then we're going to turn it over and lay it down and put a piece of paper over it and use a brayer to bray. And you want to get a pretty good connection. Now you don't want to take too long doing this or it's going to just glue right to your paper, right to the cotty, and you don't want that. And just pull it off and then let it dry. Okay, super simple. All right. And I have one here that I've already made, so we're going to be able to see that color come through. And by the way, you definitely want to wear gloves unless you want to have beautifully colored fingers. It will change though, but so you get the idea. It's pretty fun, it's pretty easy, and then you're going to have wonderful paper to use for other things. And we're going to talk about that because this is going to be a 3-part series. So remember that stitch-a-thon that we were talking about? We're going to do that next time using some of these fabrics and papers. And I'm going to give you all this time to just come up with your own color scheme and to play with it and to do resists. Okay, so you make the lace resist exactly the same way as I showed you how to do the fern. So real simple, and you just lift it up. And so that's this piece of lace right here. And actually the thicker they are, the better. Now I tried it with some really fine lace and it really didn't come up very well, but you can see the possibilities. And you know, when this dries, you're going to be able to have all these different opportunities to stitch on this, right? So I mean, think of just wonderful things that you can do and play with it, and put the lace all over it, you know. I mean, it's just going to be absolutely yummy, right? Okay, so this is the last thing that we're going to do today, and I wanted to share this with you because I know some of you are colorists and you really like bright colors. You know, I'm not super colorist. I prefer, you know, just real neutrals, but I think it's so fun and I think you're going to really enjoy it. So all you need is citric acid. A lemon would work out really well, or lemon juice. And you simply apply it to whatever you've dyed, and then you're going to get a wonderful rich pink color. At least I got pink in everything that I did. Okay, so this is blueberry. This one is the black bean. And now when you use black bean, remember the very first soak is what you want to do. I just think the little cloud effect is just really pretty on here. Isn't that lovely? So let me get this piece here, this blueberry with the resist, and then you can see how this works on here too. Super pretty, don't you think? And I love the mottled pattern. You don't want it to be soaking wet, because if it is, it's just going to take the whole pattern away. There won't be anything there. So what you can do is use just plain lemon juice and a brush to brush on whatever you want. And that's how I made these stripes. So I'm not going to share that with you, but you could also put it in a spray bottle and mist it. You could put it in an applicator bottle. I mean, just think of all the different possibilities. And then you can use a thinner piece of lace, and you want to squeeze it out so that it's not super wet. Okay, so so just plain lace, soak it in the lemon juice, and then wring it out so that it's not super wet, and that's what will give you this pretty color. So you can use even just a tiny little scrap, press it down. Like I said, it has to have some kind of weight to it. You can't use super fine, thin lace. So, and then you just get these wonderful little patterns with the lemon juice with just citric acid. So pretty fun. Well, we're almost at chow for now. And I've got a few tips for you. First of all, I'm going to heat set all of the pieces that I made, and that's going to help keep the color intact. And then when we meet next time, which will be 2 weeks from now, we're going to do the stitch-a-thon. And I think it will be really fun to do some stitches on these. You can stitch along, you can use your sewing machine, you can stitch by hand, you can just enjoy the meditative process with us. And then we're going to take them one step further and we're going to make a book with them. So that's going to be way fun. So just a few tips before we say goodbye. So you can dip it, you can spray it, you can spoon it, you can soak it, you can brush it, you can double dip it. So you can get some incredible colors. This was the one that we used the lemon juice on the blueberry, and so double dipped, it's just really yummy too, don't you think? So play around with it, experiment, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Enjoy the process. Take good care of yourselves. Stay healthy. We send you our love. Ciao for now.